Some women are simply born rich, confident, and naturally magnetic to their desires. Let's be clear, this podcast is not for them. However, if you're a soul-driven, visionary, or entrepreneurial woman who's been on a mission to learn how to create a better future bursting to come out of you, welcome to my world. I'm Jo Warwick, and this is Rich, Sexy, and Free. I've dedicated most of my career to helping women get to their core power and unlock the missing pieces for their own unique success. You may already know me as the author of the Big Book of Love. With 30 years experience in psychology, embodiment, manifesting, and energetics, we will be exploring together and with guests all things mindset, self-expression, and richer flow of money and love in your life. The keys to becoming rich, sexy, and free. So if this excites you, don't forget to like and subscribe on your favorite platform so you can stay up to date with the podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so pleased that you are joining me today. And we are diving on into the concept of losing control. Oh, this is such a juicy subject. We've been talking a lot about mindset. And one of the ways that we control ourselves so much is the idea that we have to have control. And yet when we are learning about manifesting, embodiment, self-actualizing, bringing forward your power, becoming rich, sexy, and free, one of the biggest shifts that have to happen is stepping away from trying to control and stepping into being in charge. This is a big flip from controlling externally to you, but also controlling the flow of what you can or can't have, what you can manage and not manage, instead from being a place of being in charge. Somebody who is in their power does not need to control. When I started studying how to do Wing Chun, this is a Kung Fu form that I learned for a few years. And I remember very deeply the feeling of being in charge of my own body. Now, I remember the teacher saying to us on day one, saying, I'm going to teach you how to kill. And we were like, what? And he said, because a martial art is an art that is about being able to fight. But the whole point of it being a martial art is that you don't fight. Somebody who becomes a master of themselves is that they don't have to prove their power. You never want to challenge somebody who is in control of themselves. He was being shocking. Of course, he didn't teach us how to do that, but he did teach us how to understand that when you have power, you don't have to prove it. And I often think about that as a lion out in the wild. He very rarely does anything. He doesn't really have to prove much. He walks around roaring occasionally. His embodiment of his own power is the statement of itself. This embodiment of your power means that you do less of pushing, proving, shoving, struggling, fighting. It's only when you're younger, if you look at animals in the wild, it's only when they're younger do they fight to prove themselves. But once you have embodied your power, there is very little need to do that. Now, when we're working with the universe, this power play with the universe is a reflection, it's a mirror, it's out to support you no matter what. And so if you fight with fight and have resistance and you fight yourself, then that's what you're going to get reflected back with. It will always reflect you back. If you are trying to prove that you are powerful instead of that you are powerful, we get locked in this fight with the universe. Okay, well, you want to prove it. So I'm going to keep giving you opportunities to prove it. Yeah. Instead of that I am powerful, I am successful, I am rich, there is an overflow, I am in my abundance, I am sexy, I am alive, I am free. The difference of the embodiment rather than the space of proving is a flip. It is an acceptance of our own power that is so life transforming from this immaturity to maturity, both psychologically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It is the path of enlightenment, but it is really just a flipping. It's a flipping from a state of being that says, I am powerless to a state that I am powerful. Now, is this something that you are struggling with? This is something you've had as a difficulty where you are locking yourself still in a place of proving, maybe in one section of your life. Because when we can look around in our lives and there are parts of our life that are flowing freely, we know it's happening because you're embodying your power. But when it's not happening, it's because you are in a state of powerlessness. I often find with women, there is this big block around money, about success in their own business or in their own life, and being paid successfully because of this place of disempowerment. And we've had such conditioning for so many generations that women are not allowed to have money. Women can't control money. Women can't manage money. Women are too stupid, silly, incapable. All of those stories have been passed down ancestrally. And so even though you may be a woman like me who's changing your life, who's a visionary woman, who is absolutely here to change the story and embody your power, embody your wealth, embody your riches, embody your sexiness, your vitality, and your freedom, live life on your terms, have what you want, you're still going to have some of those stories inside of you. And so you will see in your life, there are areas where it is just not flowing. Places where you're giving away your power to either a parental idea, a social idea, a limiting belief, where it's like, I am not powerful. I am not really the creator of my life. I'm not really embodying this part of me that says, I'm capable. I can do this. I'm in charge of this. I get to have it. It's already done. I am a winner. Now, this has been a big thing for me where I walked around with a program that said I wasn't a winner. So I was always achieving incredible things, but I was Cicero, constantly getting to 3/4 of the way up the hill and then rolling back down again. So that shift of going, actually, I am the winner. I am a winner. I am a winner in my life. I'm the leading lady in my life. I am a winner. And this was left over partly from, of course, from not achieving my gold medal at the Olympics, not getting to the place where I thought that would prove my worth. And of course, these stories where I've had to alchemize fear to love, fear to joy from my own upbringing. And so particularly around money, particularly around success and abundance and wealth. So I was like, it's okay to be me. It's okay to be rich. It's okay to embody my power. And when I do that, I have less to prove. So many songs out there talk about losing control, but you're so in love with somebody that you lose control. You're so impassioned that you lose control. The whole point is, if we want the universe to show up, we have to be willing to lose control, to let go of controlling of ourselves. We've never been able to control anyone around us ever. Being able to step from that process first is that we cannot control anything external to us. We never have, we never will. But we can be in charge of our mindset, our belief, our vision, our dream, our stepping forward, ourself, our own power, so that we get a different response back. It's not that things won't show up, like someone hitting your car. It's not that those things won't show up. It's how you respond to them. Yeah. It's not that life is suddenly going to unicorns and farting rainbows. It's not going to be that. Life still happens, but you're less attached to stuff, and that your mindset has changed, and that your life becomes a more and more and more abundance. That yes, it gets easier, of course, but more importantly, that you respond to things in a much richer, abundant state of being, that you're not having to control everything around you either through perfectionism, judgment, criticism, but being willing to lose control. So how does that feel to you, to lose control? Are there areas that you feel safe to do that, and areas that maybe you don't? And if you shifted to the idea of it's about being in charge of what you can be in charge of, and being in charge means guiding your power instead of trying to control it. If you try to control a horse when you're riding, what you end up doing is you're trying to fight with something that's way bigger than you. It's like a ton of weight. It's never going to happen. But more importantly, if you try to fight with it, it will fight back. But when you try to control it, you kill its spirit, you kill its flow. You're not going to go galloping and have fun and jumping over jumps and have fun. You're not going to have fun if you try to control something. And if you've ever been like me in a toxic or abusive relationship, it's all about somebody else dominating until it crushes your spirit. It's really interesting, this conversation, and it's something that gets to be explored. But asking yourself today, how do you feel about losing control? Do you like to lose control? Are you happy to lose control maybe during sex? Are you happy to lose control in other areas of your life? Does losing control feel something scary to you, that you will fall off balance? Or are you willing to let it soften a little? Soften the edges of control and change your mindset into a place of being in charge. It's about softening the edges so that you can let go of the defensiveness of control to recognize that the power is on the inside. When you trust yourself, when you hold yourself in your own power and your embodiment, it's on the inside, and therefore you can soften the crust that builds up around you, which is what control is about. It's like having this external crust to you that controls everything that's coming in. And so that you end up in a limited space. You're putting out a filter. You've dammed up the flow so that life can't come to you. Life, love, joy, money, all of those things can't come to you because you've created this defensive wall around you, this crust that stops it flowing. So once you're willing to soften that and let the control go and allow the edges to go, love always wants to flow through. Life force, universe will always come through. But that process of softening and accepting how powerful you are, like the martial art master, like the experienced rider, you recognize that being in charge means holding your space, being in balance. Everything about Wing Chun particularly is about soft limbs and using somebody else's energy against them. It's a defense art. So you don't have to be defensive. That is a different shift of this, like, I have to control everything outside of me. I have to control other people's responses. I have to control what comes into my life. I have to control myself to the inch of my degree. As we wrap up, the key bit to remember, to controlling anything external, controlling anything internal, controlling anything of the flow of life is always about fear. It's always about fear. You can challenge yourself to say, but how would it be if I trusted faith or flow or life, trusted myself instead and leaned in and allowed? And how would it be to trust myself that if I don't like something, I can walk away. I can say no. I can trust my own animal instincts because I gradually learned to embody myself like the lioness has embodied her power. And I don't then have to control everything around me because I'm simply embodying myself. So, a thought for today. And if you like this, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe and do all of that. It's been great to connect with you today. But before you leave, if you haven't already, don't forget to come and be part of the Wealthier Woman community. Find out more about how I can help you personally, or check out any of my books, products, or coaching packages. Just simply go ahead and visit richsexyandfree.com. And I look forward to seeing you next week on the podcast.